Let's work now and try this on your own 8. Problem 8a. A model rocket is launched from level ground. Its height, h meters above the ground, is a function of time t seconds after the launch and is given by the equation negative 49t squared plus 68.6t. Okay, the question is, what is the height of the rocket after 3 seconds? So height after 3 seconds. And the second question is, what would be the maximum height to the nearest meter attained by the model? At what time it reaches its maximum? So maximum height and time. And the last question is, at what time it reaches the ground? Very similar with the problem that we worked out, but this is just a different situation. You are launching a rocket this time. So what is the height of the rocket after 3 seconds? So h represents height. So this is what you are asked to find. And 3 seconds represents the time. Okay, so we have here 3 seconds. So very simple plug-in on the equation. So we have here h equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 68.6 t. So what I would like to do here is t equals 3. I'm going to plug it in here on this one. Okay, so we have here h equals negative 4.9 times 3 squared plus 68.6 times 3. So I just plug it in here and here as well. And then the rest is just calculator thing. You just enter everything in the calculator. So you have here negative 4.9 times 3 parentheses squared plus 68.6 times 3, and press enter. So you have here 161.7. so this is 161.7, and this one height is expressed in terms of meters, so I just put meters. So this would be the height of the rocket. Okay, now what would be the maximum height to the nearest meter? So nearest meter, maximum height, so this is referring to the vertex. Okay, let's find the vertex here. So to find the vertex is we have to find the axis of symmetry. So let's copy the equation first. We have h equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 68.6 t. I like to write the standard form. So you have here y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So this means my a value is this one. So a is equal to negative 4.9 and b is equal to 68.6. And c is 0. I don't need c. Okay, so the axis of symmetry is, so axis of symmetry is defined with the formula x equals negative b over 2a. Now this time when you look at the equation, x is not used in this time, it's t. So I would say t is equal to negative of, so your b value is, I'm looking at this one now and this one. So I'm looking at those two values now. So it's negative b is 68.6 over 2 times your a is negative 4.9 and t equals, okay, I want you to practice now the alpha y equals. So So alpha y equals entering fractions. So this would be negative parenthesis 68.6, okay, over 2 times negative 4.9 parenthesis. Press enter. So this one gives you 7. This means this is 7 seconds. And this is the time, okay? So this one is actually the time it reaches its maximum. Okay, now let's find h now. So h is just plug in. So h is equal to, I'll just copy negative 4.9 t squared plus 68.6, okay, t. So what I would like to do here now is to simply substitute t equals 7. So here and here, okay? So let's substitute that one. So you have h equals negative 4.9 times your t is 7 squared plus 68.6 times 7. So I'm just showing here that I plug in this one and that one. So we have here h equals, so we have here, enter everything in the calculator. So negative 4.9 times 7 squared plus 68.6 times 7, and press enter. So this one is 240.1. Now when you look at the problem, it's asking for nearest meter. Nearest meter means to a whole number. So this means when you round this off, so the whole number is here, and after 0 is 1. Now 1 is less than 5, so that means 0 stays the same. So that means this one now approximately would be 240 meters. So this one would be the maximum height. So this one is the maximum height. Okay, let's work now on the last problem. So at what time it reaches the ground? So same idea that we have in the previous discussion, that if this is your rocket, you launch that one, it reaches the ground at a certain time. Okay, so here, if this is your ground, your h this time would be 0 at certain time. Okay, so what is the time when it reaches the ground? When the moment it reaches the ground, the height is equal to 0. So from the equation given, so you have h equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 68.6 t. Okay, so this time your h is equal to 0, so I'm going to plug it in here. So h is 0, so we have now 0 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 68.6 t. Again, this is now solving for t this time, so can have option of completing the square or using the quadratic formula. Let's just use the quadratic formula. So I like to have the standard form first. So you have ax squared plus bx plus c, just to make comparisons. So my a therefore is negative 4.9, so a is negative 4.9, and my b is 68.6. So here we can use now the quadratic formula. So this time it's not using for x, so we'll just use t. So you have t equals negative b plus minus square root of the b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a. Again, I'll try to put the notation here. This is your b, this is your a, this is your c, and this is your a value. So we'll just plug in the values now. So we have here b is your c, I forgot the c is 0. So b is 68.6, so this is 68.6. This is also 68.6, and a is negative 4.9. C is 0. Your a is negative 4.9. Okay. Then you just simplify those numbers. So negative of 68.6 is just negative 68.6 plus minus square root of something divided by, you multiply the bottom, 2 times negative 4.9, press enter. So this would be negative 9.8. Okay, again, do the one first inside the square root. So all of this, so this one, all of this, and put it here. Okay, so let's do that one. So parenthesis 68.6 and squared minus 4 times negative 4.9 parenthesis times 0, press enter. This one gives you 4,705.96. Okay, now let's see if there's a square root for that. So press second square root of 4,705.96. Press enter. Okay, so we have a square root for that, which is 68.6. So we have here t is equal to negative 68.6 plus minus plus 68.6 plus 68.6 divided by negative 9.8. So here we can split this one into two solutions. So you have the first one, t equals negative 68.6 plus 68.6 divided by negative 9.8. The other one would be negative 68.6 minus 68.6 divided by negative 9.8. Then let's do that in the calculator. Again, I don't want you to do it one at a time. Do it everything in the calculator. So you have t equals, so use alpha y equals, press enter, and then negative 68.6 plus 68.6 divided by negative 9.8, press enter, and this one gives you 0 again. And the other one we have here, alpha y equals, press enter. So we have negative 68.6 minus 68.6 divided by negative 9.8, press enter, and this one gives you 14. This would be 14. So 0 seconds, and this is also seconds. So this one is where you started, and this one is where it reaches the ground. So this one is the time, it reaches the ground. So it should be 14 seconds. So after 14 seconds, it reaches the ground. That's it.